Hello everyone, Rosie Vision here, and I like taking a look at entertainment through rose-tinted glasses because we all deserve some magic in our life. And what could be more magical than the return of our favorite group of fairies? Winx Club is coming back, guys. Normally I'm someone who likes to be pretty cautiously optimistic, let's say, when it comes to these sort of things. So I was honestly really worried about this upcoming reboot of Winx Club, as were, I think, a lot of fans. However, a new teaser recently dropped, as I'm sure many of you know. I'm coming in on this a little late, unfortunately. And although it is not perfect by any means, I'm actually way less worried about this reboot than I was previously. So I'm just going to go through what we know so far, compare it to what we've seen previously, things like that. I am going through pictures on my computer constantly, so you might hear some clicking, so please forgive that if it gets annoying. So yeah, let's just go first things first. I am so incredibly astounded by how much better the animation looks. I think some people still aren't completely sold on it, but I think it is a massive, massive, massive improvement, and it is the best thing that I have seen come from Rainbow thus far in terms of CG. I know that everyone is a sucker for traditional animation, and I too would like to see more of it these days, at least in the Western Hemisphere, but this is looking really, really nice so far. I remember reading somewhere that Rainbow said that they struggled so hard with getting the hair right for the Winx characters when it came to the movies, and it's still not perfect, but I am really liking how the hair is looking so far. The textures and scenery just look amazing. The lighting is gorgeous. And we even get to see some texture on the faces. Like, for example, you can actually see wrinkles on Faragonda's face. I know, low standards, but it was hard to tell that she looked old previously, at least when it came to the CGI. So thank God for that. And then another big takeaway is that finally we get Aisha and Flora looking more like themselves again, so thank God for that. And yeah, just like visually, I'm really sold on this so far. I cannot stress enough how much Rainbow has improved with their CGI. I'm also liking that the ogre at the beginning, maybe it's Nut or maybe it's just someone else, but the ogre at the beginning actually looks intimidating, which I am happy for because I feel like Winx Club really babyfied villains as time went on. And I know Nut probably isn't the best example for making that argument since he's from the original series and he was just kind of the dumb oaf character trope, but still, when every villain is like that, it's not a good thing. And although Nut holds a special place in my heart because he is from the original series, it's nice to see some intimidating looking creatures for the Winx to fight against. Okay, visually, that's pretty much about it, minus fashion, and we'll circle back to that later because it's definitely not perfect. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I've said this before. I do very much appreciate fashion and try to learn more about it, but I am far, far, far from an expert. So I'm going to just give general opinions on that. I'm not going into an analysis. But next thing on the agenda, the voice acting. I was so worried when we watched the last teaser because it was not sounding super promising, but I think I was just mistaken. Someone in the comments mentioned that because it was so early in production, that was most likely just a placeholder, the voices that we heard at that point in time. And it looks like they were right. And I think this is also our official cast because there was one other special look that I'm going to reference before this new teaser came out. And it also has the same voices that we hear in this one as well. I will see if I can play a quick sample of each voice that we got from the sneak peek so that you can hear what everyone sounds like and make your own decisions on how you feel. I don't know how that'll do when it comes to copyright. Hopefully, we'll be all good. We are just trying to listen to a short snippet of sound and make an informed opinion about it from that. So hopefully, we'll be all good.
Hi, I'm Blue. Aisha, Fairy of Waves. Musa, Fairy of Music. Stella!
I'm the Fairy of the Shining Sun.
I'm Techna, Fairy of Technology.
I'm Flora. I'm the Fairy of Nature.
I'm going to have to hear more of them personally to have full opinions, but I am glad that it at least sounds like the voice acting is going to be competent, which once again, low bar, I know. But I have cautious optimism when it comes to this cast. It's not perfect by any means, but, you know, people get settled into their roles, so it could get better over time. I honestly think that happened with the Cinelume version as well. It didn't have the best voice acting, but the cast definitely got better as the seasons went on. Yeah, I don't have any hard opinions on the voices so far. I think it just fits. It works. Flora's accent is new. I don't know how to feel about it just yet. I'm not against it, but it is new, so it'll take some time to get used to. And I do think Techna might sound a little deadpan. Obviously, it makes sense why they do that for her character, but hopefully we'll get to hear more dynamic range later on. That's really the only thing I can find to be kind of nitpicky about, though. Other than that, I think they'll do fine. And it definitely will not be the worst dub from what I've heard so far. So that's very, very good news for me. I've been trying to avoid other people's videos on this so that I can make my own opinions. Something that I don't know if other people have mentioned, I assume not, is the music that they used in the trailer, the background music. I don't know if it was just something made only for the trailer and they're going in a completely different direction once they start the actual series. But if it's anything like what they use in the actual series, I am super, super pumped for the score of this upcoming Winx Club reboot. This isn't something that people mention a lot when it comes to complaints with the new seasons, but I absolutely cannot stand the way that they use music in the more recent versions of Winx Club. The background music feels very... There's no other way to say it. It feels very kidified. And the fact that it's just super simple, uses sounds that you associate with like nursery rhymes and stuff like that. And it also is super intrusive to what's going on. Like there will be music going the entire time and it will like blast randomly, and it just gives sort of like a Tom and Jerry feel, but it works for Tom and Jerry. However, it does not work for Winx Club at all, and that's the direction they've been taking with music recently in Winx Club, unfortunately, and I did not feel that here. The music that we've heard so far in the teaser, I really liked because it had a good balance of feeling very serious, adventurous, cinematic, but it also felt very mystical and magical as well. I absolutely loved the twinkly sounds that we got in between the more intense synths and percussion and stuff like that. Once again, if the music in the actual series is anything like the teaser, then I think we are in good hands, thankfully. Okay, now more on terms of the story and that sort of thing. Obviously, we don't know too much about it just yet since we only got a short snippet of what's to come. But from what we can see, it looks like they are indeed starting from the very beginning. And if it is going to be a reboot, then I guess that is indeed the best way to go. And it seems like all the basic elements of the story are still there. We have all of the girls together, obviously Althea. We can see 3 of the specialists, Sky, Brandon, and Riven. We also get a sneak peek at the tricks and something that I don't think anyone's mentioned, in the preview before this, when they're showing behind the scenes, there's a storyboard cut that shows WizGiz as well. So it looks like pretty much all the same elements are going to be there, but with upgraded visuals, upgraded music, hopefully like just better everything. Obviously, it won't be the same as it was before. Nothing ever will be, unfortunately, but I could feel a sense of passion from the people who worked on this project, which is a lot more than I can say for a lot of the Winx Club stuff that's come out recently. So just purely because of that, and the fact that they were able to improve so much, and they finally gave the characters back their individual characteristics so that we can actually recognize them again. They should have done that from the beginning, but I guess better late than never. The fact that all of that is coming together makes me, at the very least, hopeful. And I must say, I was not immune to the nostalgia bait that was in here at the very end when they reference Bloom coming up with the Winx Club name. That definitely got to me. I admit, going back to it, watching it before recording, it doesn't hit exactly the same as it did originally, but the callback was really nice. It made me feel warm and tingly inside. So yeah, overall, I am way more excited for this than I thought I would be. I was dreading, in a sense, of this coming out since I've been let down so many times by Rainbow, but it's looking good so far, so hopefully, please, 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 at least be as good as this teaser makes it out to be. I will be happy if that's the case. But before we wrap up, I did say we'd circle back to the fashion, so let's go ahead and do that. I don't want to spend too much time, though, because it's not worth it hearing me ramble when I don't even have the qualifications to talk too much about fashion, so let's get into it. This is where you might start hearing clicking, by the way. Okay, so it looks like we officially have our first looks at the casual outfits as well as the fairy forms. However, I did have to go digging a little bit because the information for this was sprinkled out between this teaser as well as the behind the scenes teaser that came out a little while ago. So let's start with the casual outfits, I guess. I'm gonna do a quick side-by-side comparison between this and what we thought it was going to look like real quick. So I rambled on quite a bit about my thoughts on this previous concept art that we saw of the Winx. Looking at it now in comparison, it is really, really chaotic, and maximalism can work, but I think they were doing it wrong here in most cases for the original concept art. So I'm actually really happy that they simplified a lot of this stuff. Some of my critiques that I had previously is, once again, the maximalism. It was worst on Flora, I think. Like, God, there's so much going on there. So many different patterns and colors, and the chunky jewelry just does not go with what she's wearing, and it's all different colors too. Yeah, it's just way too much. So I'm really glad that they brought it down in the new version. And I did say that I liked the flower print on her jacket, but it just didn't go with her outfit, and I think they made it look better in the newer version. I don't have any strong opinions on it. I do like that they gave her green and pink again as an homage to original transformation, and I just think it's a massive improvement from before. Could it have been better? Probably, but I am not mad looking at it, so that's a plus. Another thing that wasn't really a complaint, but more so confusion, was it looked like Tekna had robotic limbs or prosthetic limbs, something to that effect. And based on what we've seen in the trailer, I went through it all like super slow to just make sure. That is nowhere to be seen in the newer version. So if that was a concept before, I guess it's scrapped now. I didn't know how to feel about it previously. I just needed to know how they were going to go about things, but I guess that's not in the picture anymore. Yeah. I guess the only other complaint from previously that I'll bring up is I didn't like that they kind of gave Stella the stereotypical mean girl / valley girl look, and that it was way too pink, and I didn't associate her with pink. They still kept the same overall vibe in her newer version, but at the very least, they toned down the pink, and that I am glad of. I still don't know if I see Stella in the outfit that she's wearing now, but it at least I think is an improvement. And now that I think about it, mixing the pink with her color scheme could work, considering sunsets are a thing, you know? But yeah, I think they did better. It's not my favorite Stella look, but it's at least an improvement. And I do like her in pigtails. That's cute. I'm gonna stop referencing the old concept art for the casual now and just talk about what we see for the newer version real quick. Don't want to talk too long. Let's go through Musa, Aisha, and Tekna real quick. I think they all look decent, maybe a little on the bland side when it comes to, well, honestly, kind of all of them. It isn't the most boring thing that I've ever seen, but I feel like it's still missing a little bit of pizzazz. Aisha, I love the colors and the cuts. I do feel like it's missing something, maybe like some print. For Tekna, the holographic material fits with her perfectly, and I love that it looks like her original outfit. Once again, I just feel like it's missing something, like maybe accessories. And then for Musa, she definitely looks like her original self. And I love how they have, oh god, I always forget what these are called. The one-piece shirt that she's wearing. I like how they styled it similarly to how you could see her underwear before in the low-rise Y2K look. They did a similar thing here, but kind of updated. And yeah, it does give vibes of original Musa, but I feel once again like they could have done a bit more. Like, I really enjoyed the fishnet fingerless gloves that they gave her in the previous version. And I don't know, everyone looks okay, I guess, in this version. Not the worst I've ever seen. I don't think anyone mentions how there have been some misfire outfits in Winx Club, even in the original season. And I don't think this is the worst that we've ever seen. Okay, I don't want to spend too long on this, so let's wrap it up with Bloom. It seems like Bloom's outfit changed the most. Now it's more of an homage to her original outfit in season 1, which I am okay with. I do really like her pants. It feels like the closest thing that we have to the original. And yeah, I think her outfit just works. Once again, I feel like it's not quite as pizzazzy as we've seen Winx Club fashion in the past, but it gets the job done and it looks like Bloom's style, so I'm completely okay with that. And now for the transformation. Okay, so it looks like what we saw in that concept art is actually pretty close to what we got. Some differences, but for the most part, it's pretty similar. We don't see too much of the transformation in the new teaser, but it is in the behind-the-scenes footage that came out a little while ago. So I'll be putting those images up for reference. I don't really think I can say too much on it. We haven't really seen any of the outfits in action besides Stella and Flora, so they're really all I'm going to talk about. I'll just flash up the others on screen so far since we've only seen glimpses. But for Stella and Flora, let's get into it. 1+ right off the bat, Stella has a scepter again. Thank God. That is something I missed so much. I have no idea why they got rid of it, but I am glad that it is back. I'm not entirely positive how to feel about the designs once again. I do enjoy the cuts that are on Stella's outfit, and the flowers do look really cute on Flora, and I do get similar vibes to their original Magic Winx. I just feel like, once again, they might have gone a little bit too much into the maximalism side of things. Like, knowing Winx Club, they're gonna add a million transformations from here, and if this is the base, then where else are we gonna go? That's my main concern. But honestly, I am a little bit worried about the fashion direction from what I've seen in the trailer. I think the casual outfits are okay, a little bland, but they're fine. But what we saw in between frames, like they were hiking, I think, or something to that extent, and you can see their outfits from there. I'll put it on screen. I'm not sure how to feel about that. And then here with the transformations, I feel like they might have gone a bit too far, but honestly, I'm not gonna be too nitpicky on things because I can deal with okay to sometimes bad fashion if the rest of the story is good and everything else in the production works out. And hopefully that will be the case. And this is by far not god awful. So I am at least grateful for that. One thing I'm noticing right now that I actually really like is that there's different textures in their wings. Flora has what looks like paint splattered onto her wings, and Stella has holographic looking material as well as sparkles on her wings. I do think that it might be a little bit much, but I like the idea that they were going for. I think I'm just going to end it there for the fashion because I definitely am not qualified to give a full analysis. But here, you've seen the images, so you can come to your own conclusion. Go ahead and let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments. I'm curious because I'm having a little bit of trouble articulating how I feel. Kind of on the neutral side, I guess. Not too bad, not too great either, but it could be worse. One last thing I'll mention before wrapping up here, though, is that I really love the details that you can see in the face. I think they did a good job with the texture of the eyelashes, and I also love that we can actually see the differences in makeup that they have with eyeshadow and things like that. That's always really hard to convey in animation, especially traditional. I'm not sure exactly why, maybe for a lack of space or something, but I guess they found a system that made it work here, and I think it really paid off. Oh yeah, another thing before I completely forget. There's a short snippet in the teaser where we can see Bloom pop out of a portal into what looks like a gymnasium, and she seems upset. And I think what we can gather from this is A, she runs back to Earth in classic Bloom fashion, or B, there's a threat on Earth and she goes back in order to save everyone. And just being able to speculate on that little bit of teaser gives me some hope because the fact that I'm even interested in where the story is going in the first place is a good sign. I think that's about everything I wanted to get through. Sorry if I'm a little all over the place. I didn't script anything for this. I just wanted to speak my thoughts on everything while I still could, even if I'm a little bit late to the party. But once again, I'm way more excited for this than I thought I'd be. I think visually, it looks way better than I could have possibly imagined. The voice cast sounds like they're gonna do a pretty good job. And there's some really, really beautiful detail in the background with the hair, makeup, and it just feels like there's a lot of heart put into this, which is the most that you could possibly ask for. Because heart is what makes something special, even if the rest of it doesn't quite add up. That's part of the reason why everyone loves the original version of Winx Club so much. The voice acting and animation wasn't always the greatest, that is for sure. But where original Winx Club did excel was in the heart and passion. It was there. And that's what people resonated with. And if there's even an ounce of that same passion in this project, which is the gut feeling that I'm getting here based on how they presented everything, then I think so long as you're not looking for things to fail and expect everything to be the same as it was before, I have a good feeling that a lot of Winx Club fans will enjoy this. So long as Rainbow doesn't drop the ball. Hopefully they won't. I am praying. If it just stays at the level that we see right here, I think we're good, personally. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I didn't think that was possible. But that's just how I feel about things. I'm not entirely sure how the rest of you all feel, so go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'm really curious how everyone else is feeling about things, be it the direction of the story, the fashion, the new voice cast, like anything. Let it all loose, guys. But I think that will have to do from here. Hopefully it doesn't take too long for me to edit this. I'm already recording this like a week after the teaser came up. I was busy, unfortunately. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe so you can join me for the journey to come. I've definitely been on something of a hiatus for a variety of factors. I'm in school, and I also kind of had a bit of a YouTube slump. I have been struggling with the YouTube editing process for years at this point. It's my least favorite part of the process, and honestly, I think I just had a really bad system going on before. I've been editing a lot more these days, and I'm actually enjoying myself. Combination of taking breaks and just making things easier on myself. I was doing things I didn't need to do. And yeah, hopefully with this new system that I have, I'll be getting stuff to you a lot quicker. But I think that's where we're gonna have to end things for today. I'll see you guys in the next one, and don't forget to keep a little magic in your life.